From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Brazil ahead of the G20 summit. G20 research group head John Curtin says the summit's leaders are turning to Canada to learn how best to manage a second Trump presidency.
Trudeau will be in a relatively privileged position, because he's been with Donald Trump at, basically several G20 summits in the past, and several G7 ones, too. And then, of course, we're the next-door neighbor. We're a frontline state.
He says Canada's in lockstep with Brazil's main priorities for the summit, including economic equality, climate change, and reducing hunger. Some charities and not-for-profits worry about the Canada Post strike jeopardizing their year-end fundraising efforts. Canada Post workers went on strike Friday, and the union says there's been little progress in bargaining. Union Gospel Mission in Vancouver says about 50% of its revenue comes between Thanksgiving and Christmas, with many of those donations coming by mail. Parliament resumes tomorrow, and a weeks-long filibuster is expected to pick up exactly where it left off before the break. The standoff is inching Parliament closer to an unprecedented procedural cliff that could prevent the Liberals from raising the funds they need to run the government. The latest inflation reading due out Tuesday from Statistics Canada is expected to show a small uptick. RBC economist Claire Fan says the increase is mostly an energy story and says inflation is still trending down.
The broad story really is that, this low inflation or progressively easing inflation pressures is still very much the trend when it comes to, again, just reading the CPI data and what we're expecting as well.
The inflation reading will help shape the Bank of Canada's next rate decision. That's scheduled for December 11th. U.S. President Joe Biden is easing restrictions on Ukraine to allow it to use U.S.-supplied long-range missiles to strike inside Russia. Biden had remained determined to hold the line against any escalation he felt could draw the U.S. and other NATO countries into direct conflict with Russia. But North Korea recently deployed thousands of troops to help Moscow try to claw back land seized by Ukraine this year. A New York art auction involving a banana and duct tape is being valued at $1 million.
A banana usually sells for less than $1. A banana duct taped to a wall by artist Maurizio Catalan could sell for between $1 million and $1.5 at a November 20th New York auction, says Sotheby's David Galprin.
It's one of the more profound and really provocative conceptual artworks made in the 21st century.
Galprin says the artwork comes with a certificate of authenticity, allowing the owner to display it, and the banana was always meant to be replaced. Julie Walker, New York.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, it is Grey Cup Sunday, and this year's edition features two teams looking to return to glory. The Toronto Argonauts and Winnipeg Blue Bombers are about to kick off at BC Place Stadium in Vancouver. Only one Canadian NHL team in action tonight. The Vancouver Canucks close out a four-game schedule as they host Nashville. Winnipeg Jets defenseman Neil Pionk has been fined $5,000 US for clipping Florida Panthers forward Jesper Boquist in Winnipeg's Saturday night loss. And former Humboldt Bronco Ryan Straczynski will be the focus of a 6-part TV series focusing on his goal of making the Paralympic basketball team.
So they're kind of following me around and interviewing a lot of people that have helped influence my life and supported me along this journey in hopes that I can make the Paralympics one day.
The 25-year-old was paralyzed from the chest down when a semi ran a stop sign and barreled into the path of the Humboldt Broncos bus in 2018. The series airs next May on AMI. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.